Free writing, I could just free write all day because it's just me in the journal.
Ah, interesting.
Feelings, you actually have to, it's like admitting like, I feel crazy or whatever the feeling is.
Yes.
Putting that on paper is kind of like saying it out loud.
You know, the only fear that I have about putting it on paper is that
Somebody gonna find it?
if something go down.
I know.
If something go down, they gonna be like, here's the proof right here. She was crazy all along. And I'm like, oh man, they got me.
I don't got it all planned out, but you know, I just watch it all pan out, 'cause I know that you know, covered in this life until forever.
Welcome to the Cool Mom Code podcast, Virginia Thornton. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Aww.
This is pretty cool. I don't
Thanks
think
for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. I don't think I've ever had anyone named Virginia who's from Virginia, the name of their state, on the podcast. Were you named after the state or no?
No, so I was named after my grandmother and great-grandmother, actually. So
Who were also from Virginia?
No.
No way.
They're from New York, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were born and raised in New York?
No, I was born and raised in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, military brought me to Virginia.
Okay, so you're born and raised from Virginia, but yet your family has roots in New York.
In New York and Texas.
In Texas.
DC, yep.
Okay, well, you know I'm a Detroit girl.
Oh, okay.
And so my grandmother is from Virginia,
Okay.
and my brother went to Hampton.
I went to Hampton.
Girl, you know I know.
What?
You know I did my research. Girl, you know I know. I love that was such an honest reaction. You like, oh, yeah. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay,
but yes,
okay.
Hampton, Black University, that was something that was really important to my family. I didn't go to a Black university though.
Okay.
And it's something that I feel like regret. And it's something now that I have daughters and like a son too, but like my daughters are the older ones. My oldest, I'm always like, we're going to be looking at all the schools, right? Like all the Black schools, all the HBCUs. And my husband, he went to a HBCU. And so I feel like if I could do it all over again, I would definitely have gone to Howard.
Oh, okay. Wait. Look, I was about to respond to Lisa Howard. I'm like, oh, okay. I ain't mad.
I don't know why. I just feel like it would have like set me up right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a different experience that you have at Black universities.
For sure.
And I didn't have that. And it's something that I regret almost, like that's one of my biggest regrets, I think, in my schooling process. Tell me about your experience.
So I think for me, the one thing I loved about Hampton was you just meet so many different types of Black people. So growing up, I grew up in Norfolk. Obviously, there's a good Black population there.
Right.
But a lot of us are kind of the same. So like,
well, yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, well, it's the same community. It's like it's the same. Yeah, okay, you guys are. I understand that.
But like when you go to an HBCU, you meet so many different kinds of Black people. Africans. I mean, people from all walks of life. People who grew up rich, people who didn't. That just wasn't something that I grew up around. So
and people don't realize, I think, it's funny you say this because there's been a couple of women in this seat who have talked about the Black experience. And they're talking about something a little different. They were mixed. So they're talking about maybe like the Black experience of how they see themselves or how people saw themselves and like being Black. But this is interesting because as a Black woman myself, you as a Black woman, the Black experience is different for everybody, and people don't realize that just because you're Black, we don't all talk the same talk, and we're not all from the same type of family, and the Black culture or whatever is so different and different depending on what area of the country you're from. Like all that makes a difference. Black dudes from New York talk to you a lot differently from Black dudes from the South. They hollering at you a lot differently, and I don't think people outside of our communities understand that as much. So I get when you're saying you go to a Black university, HBCU, and it's like so many different types of people.
it was very eye-opening for me. And I'll say, too, it made me realize the differences in school systems.
What do you mean by that?
Like, no shade to my hometown, but
No shade.
like,
No shade.
I just like felt so behind. So many people who did go to public schools just had a better educational experience than me. There were just so many differences that I noticed walking into an HBCU. And I guess you would notice that anywhere in any college, but just, when you're comparing the Black experience,
right?
Like, wow, she really had a great public school education. I thought I did, but when you line it up, compared to other people, I really didn't.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard it that way. I feel like is there a network that you felt like you were able to walk away with from a Black university that you don't feel like, or in comparison to people that you knew who didn't go to Black universities, like you had in comparison to them?
I don't know.
You tripping. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. I'm going to answer the question for you. Let me tell you why. Because everybody I meet who has gone to an HBCU has walked away with this, like, it's this ingrained community no matter where they go.
Yeah.
You don't even have to pledge. You don't have to pledge a sorority or a fraternity. Just the simple fact that you even went to an HBCU, you walk away with a different community ingrained in your, like, further future or whatever than I feel like I walked away with.
I mean, even you saying my brother went to HBCU, I'm like, oh yeah, see, it's that. So it's true. I didn't realize that until I got into, like, working or having, like, my own, company or job. Then it's like, wait, you went to Hampton? It's more of a sister brotherhood type relationship. I feel like I was kind of thinking on it because I was like, I feel like, people who went to Virginia Tech, or they all do the same thing, but yeah,
it's different.
Special when it's your people.
Do you feel like now that you've gone through the HBCU process that you will encourage that for your child?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to want him to go where the money is.
Yeah, exactly. Where is your scholarship?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is your scholarship? Yeah. That's how I talk to my kids too. I'm like, listen, you better work hard now. Yeah. But you will encourage it. You felt like it was such a positive experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, I feel like that too. I like I said, I didn't go to an HBCU, and it is something that.
It's not too late.
No, I went to school.
But what about, like, masters?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Girl, we got other things.
I don't blame you.
We got other things we got to do. Okay, like the time is ticking. Okay, you see this clock? Okay, so I heard that you and your husband have been together for over 2 decades. That's 20 years.
Wait, over 2 decades. Wait, has it been that long?
You tell me.
No, 2006. So almost.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
That's very similar to me and my husband, though.
Really?
Yes. We've been together for, I just did the math yesterday, so that's the only reason why I know. 15 years, and we've been married for 15, and we've been together for 20.
Wow, you've been married for 15.
Married for 15.
Wow, congratulations.
That's crazy, though.
Yes.
That's a long time, but same to you. I mean, in a relationship, I think for that long, carries some weight. It really does. And especially when your spouse is a celebrity figure. How is that? How have you been able to manage a healthy relationship when that is such a factor?
I think it helps because my husband is very grounded. He's not, like, all Hasidity, like, he's very much a Virginia boy. Like, and it's easier to still be, like, amazed that, oh, wow, people are asking for his autograph, or, because he's so normal, like, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, he's husband and dad.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are, like, some struggles just with, like, I'm an at-home girl. Like, I don't like to be too much in the public eye, so.
Do you feel like that's helpful, though? Because sometimes, they say that yin and yang in a relationship. You like to be at home. You're a homebody. You're more, like, rooted in that. Is that helpful for you? Because you ain't trying to be out there in the streets and, like, you know what I mean? Y'all not competing for attention.
Oh, yeah. Somebody got to take care of home. Somebody got to do it. That's me, and I don't mind it.
Yeah,
so,
you love it.
I love it.
You love it. So I also heard that it took you guys a little bit to get pregnant.
Yes.
So talk to me about that, because I think that is something that a lot of women relate to, especially nowadays. You know, it's not as easy. I think we have this fairy tale that we're like, oh, we're just going to like get married. We're going to do this. We're going to be in a relationship. Everything's going to be great. And boom, we're going to get pregnant when we want to. And then this whole time we've been trying not to get pregnant, and now we're going to get pregnant.
Exactly.
And it's so easy breezy. What was the experience like for you?
So I want to put this disclaimer out there.
Okay.
I'm a big crybaby. Okay. So if I shed a tear or two, like, it's normal.
You don't even need the disclaimer, girl.
Okay. So yes, it did take a little while, maybe a year and a half. And then once that year and a half passed, we were like, of trying. Yeah. We were like, okay, we need to get some help. We did. We had a great doctor. Had a successful egg retrieval. We got a lot of embryos.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got pregnant right away, no issues, with my son, Nigel.
Wow.
So I guess, figuring out like, dang, why couldn't I get pregnant a year and a half? That was a little bit, like that put me down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think what's been harder is trying to get pregnant since.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually been a little bit of a struggle.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you still going the same route? Are you still trying IVF again, or are you trying to do it naturally?
Yeah, we've tried a couple times.
Yeah.
So just this past time, I've been like, you know what? I'm letting it go. I'm giving it to God.
Let it go.
Okay.
Yeah. Let it go.
And, whatever's meant to be will be. But I think with all the loss that we've experienced, we were like, oh, we'll just go back to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because the first time was so easy.
See, that's the interesting part about it. But were you able to keep your eggs then from the first time?
Oh, yeah, we still had embryos.
Okay, so you still had embryos,
Yeah.
and now you're just trying to use those embryos. I had a big conversation about, with a young lady, sat in this seat, and she wasn't a mom yet, but she chose to freeze her embryos. No, she chose to freeze her eggs and do the whole process, because for her, she was like, I know I want to have kids and, all the things or whatever, and she chose to do it. And it was interesting to me to hear her take on it at that age. You know what I mean?
How old was she?
She's probably in her 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, in her 30s. And just like to hear her take on it and all that stuff was so interesting from someone who wasn't a mom yet but wanted to be a mom. It was like she was pre-thinking all this. I think for me, it's something I never even thought about. It didn't even cross my mind that this was like something that so many women would have to do.
Yeah.
But to go through a year and a half of feeling like I can't get pregnant, then to go to IVF and it being so like just a great experience for you. Let's say that, just a great experience for you, which even a lot of women don't get that.
Yeah.
And now have the second time around it not be the same. That's
Second, third, I can keep going.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think, like, sometimes you get so wrapped up, and this is actually what I've learned from, shout out to my life coach, Dior. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Is, like, sometimes, you look beyond what you have, and then you just feel empty inside. Like, she calls it the pie. So,
wait a minute, explain that to me. You look beyond what you have, and you feel empty inside.
So, I think it's a great analogy. She calls it like the pie. So like your pie is, like my pie would be Nigel, my husband, a roof, food, etc. That makes up my 100%. But if you're always looking at, oh my God, I want 2 more kids, or, oh, I want $2 million in the bank, you're just opening up your pie to more emptiness. And you're always searching for something when you really have all that you need. And ever since I started working with her, I've just realized, like, I have everything I need in my son.
Yeah.
And when I start searching for more, I'm missing out on what's in front of me. So that's kind of helped me a lot.
It's like the idea of living in gratitude, right?
Exactly.
Like it's the idea of like, I think that was one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to really try, and because I am one of those type of people, I'm very ambitious. Like I'm always looking for the next. And when things happen that feel like that are like markers in my life that I feel like I should be super excited about, I like breeze by them.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, what's next?
Like I'm like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
Knew that was gonna happen. Okay, now what's next? And then you're on to the next. And I think this year, I told myself, and I've had some loss in the past like couple of years, but this year I told myself, I said, you know what? I just want to live in gratitude. Like that's it. I just want to focus on the moment and live in gratitude and see what that feels like, because we're always trying to skate past to like what's next. And I love the whole pie theory because that's what it feels like. It feels like instead of skating past to the second pie, focus on the pie you got.
Exactly.
Focus on the pie you got. So what are some ways that like you in your daily life bring yourself back to that? When you feel like you are looking past what you have into the emptiness of what it could be, what do you do to bring yourself back?
I just really have to check myself a lot.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do in the past. I think really holding yourself accountable is a really good way to practice self-care.
Yeah.
And self-love. So sometimes it's just having a real talk with yourself or your accountability coach, whoever that may be. I do it often.
Yeah.
And it's very, very necessary.
Yeah.
I also play tennis.
Okay, yes. We're going to get into the tennis because I love this idea. I love this. I love what you've created. I think it's just phenomenal. But we're going to get into that.
Okay.
But like, because I think mental health is so important, this is why I say it. Because there's so many women. I'll start with women because my biggest thing is always intersecting this idea that womanhood and motherhood can exist, but they are separate parts of you, but they can exist together. But there's so many women who have issues with finding time for self-love, self-care, mental health. Those things are important and we push it down. Now factor on that motherhood. When your main focus and concern and love in your life is your partner, I'm sure, but also your child. You know, that's like where your heart lives outside of your body all the time. And so you forget to focus on yourself. So I like this idea of like, bring it back to you. Bring it back to you. Have you always been like that? Or did it take motherhood or something in your life to say, hey, listen, Virginia, you're important?
It took motherhood, for sure. Like, I think what made me really get there is I was really mindful of my son's mental health. Oh. And I knew that, you know, growing up, you see your parents, you see your grandparents, and you understand how that may have played, you know, a role in your life.
But you don't recognize it. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
As a kid, you don't recognize it.
Let me tell you, and this is a sidebar, but for whatever reason, once I got pregnant, I started like, I don't know if that happened to you, but like every single thing from my past just like came to the forefront and I felt like I had a meltdown.
Really?
That didn't happen. That was just me.
Oh, other things happen.
Okay.
Virginia, other things happen. Trust me. Other things was going on by. But that's interesting that you were able to like feel it and pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Wow. So for you, it was like, because in that moment for you, you was like, I'm about to bring life to this world. Let's see what are all the traumas that have happened in the past that I need to go ahead and swim through to make sure this is a good thing. Yeah. Like, all that. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Listen, I always say this and I've been quoted saying this and I'll say it till the end of time. There's two things that I feel like in life that have changed me. It is losing someone, death, and birth, giving life. Those two things have changed me forever. So I feel like those two moments in life, that totally makes sense to me. Absolutely. Okay, continue.
Look.
Yeah, okay.
I got short term. Another thing from motherhood.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm just cautious of. I'm mindful of my son's mental health, and that's another layer that you add on top of. You know, I'm going crazy. Let me check myself. Oh my gosh, my son is watching me.
Right.
You know, as a mom, there's just so many things that you have to think about. It's even harder to get back to yourself.
Yeah, it is. Do you feel like also in those moments of you checking yourself, do you feel like, because this is something I struggle with, is that with kids, I'm like, I want my kids to realize that I am human.
Yeah.
I don't want them to look at me like I am this like perfect being, and that everything I do is the right choice, and everything I don't have any I don't ever cry, and I'm not ever sad. I want them to see my highs, my lows, my in between, because when they have it, I want them to know it's normal, right? So, but at the same time, flip that to relationships. I want them also, because I was raised by a single mom, and I never saw the interaction between a man and a woman on a daily basis. So when I got into a marriage, I thought, okay, y'all supposed to just be happy. You chose to be married, you should be in love and be happy. But my husband and I, we fight, like we do all the things. And I think him and I even had a conversation about it. We were like, listen, I think it's okay for the kids to see us fight, but they have to also see us make up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in your relationship, because for you, like you're saying, you check yourself, you're like, yo, my son is watching. Do you feel like that also transfers over into relationship stuff too? Even relationships with parents, friends, whatever it is, but like relationship too, like, hey, he's watching, or are you okay with him seeing the highs and lows of it all too?
I'm okay with him seeing the highs and lows. I think the key is communication.
Yes.
So a lot of people think, oh, it's a child. That don't mean you can't explain to your child, I'm having a bad day and I'm crying.
That's right.
You know, oh, I see you. You make me feel so much better. Thank you for the hug, Nigel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about talking to your child. That is one thing I'll say. When I was pregnant, I said I would always talk to my child like an adult. Not in a bad way, like they need to grow up, but like they're also a human being.
Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah, they're smart.
They can figure, like you're helping them to figure out and navigate the world.
Yeah.
So don't talk to them in baby terms.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's not really like hiding, your feelings or hiding your fight. It's talking that through with your son. You're not always going to have a good day, or mommy and daddy just had a disagreement, but we love each other, we're fine.
Oh, I love that. Right.
I think that's very, very important.
Communication is everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. Communication is everything. What has been, and the only reason why I'm asking this too is because I told my husband to his face the other day, I was like, listen, this is what it is.
I hear that Detroit accent
It's just
coming
like,
out.
you do, right?
Listen, this is what it is.
This is what it is. This is what it is. Let me tell you. But my husband's from the South.
Okay.
He's from Alabama.
Oh, wow.
So in the house, you can imagine when he gets heated and when I get heated, it's like these two, like the North and the South just competing. But no, I told him, I was like, listen, everyone always asks me, what's the hardest relationship that I've had in my life? And I always say marriage. I say motherhood, for me, it comes natural. I feel like naturally by birthing these kids, naturally I have an eagerness to nurture them, an eagerness to parent and lead them in the right way in the world. As a daughter, I felt like I naturally loved my mother. She was the most important woman and being in my life. Siblings, same way, right? You're with them, you were raised with them. Marriage is the hardest relationship for me. And I'll tell you why. Because trying to factor in somebody else into your everyday is so damn difficult to me. And it's just something, I love my husband. I love him. He is the rock of our family. I adore him, and I chose right. I really did. I chose
That's
right.
right.
I really did. And I will ride with that man till the ends of the earth. However, it is a challenge. And I don't know, is that something that you feel? Like, what is your relationship that you're like, this is the one I have to work on? Even if it's just with yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes business relationships are hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But to your point of marriage, it's like, that whole communication thing. Yes. But also, not to be cheesy, but the whole love language is so hard for me. Like, it took us so long to figure out, like, I'm giving you all this affection and you're not doing this for me. And I'm like, but affection is what I want, And I'm giving him all this affection. He's like, okay, I don't need all these hugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm good.
I think figuring that out helped us a lot.
Virginia.
But have y'all figured that out?
We have, but we have not mastered it, because even hearing you say that, a light bulb just went off. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's the love language. Communication is one thing, but it's the love language. It's the love
really
language.
is.
My love language is through food.
Food? That ain't no. I mean, it's a love language, but
it's not.
like
I made the 17th one or whatever it's called, the 8th one, whatever it is. If there's 7 of them, I made the 8th one. Like, it's like I love through food. Like, I nurture through food. So like if I'm making you things or cooking, like I don't mind that. Like I don't mind like whatever like you need in terms of like that. But if we're cuddling, that's not my thing. I'm like, yo, little space there.
So then you would like.
But he loves the cuddle.
Yeah, but if you came home and he had like a whole spread out, would that like get you warm inside?
No, because I'd be mad. Because I'd be like, you don't cook.
Oh.
Well, how did you get this here? What's happening? I would have chose something else.
Okay.
Because my taste buds would, like, I would have opinions about it. And it wouldn't be right. I know I'd be in the wrong. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be right. But no, because I know that's not his love language. So I don't want you to love me through your food. I want to love you through my food. But it is something about loving. I know I'm not right. I know this doesn't make sense, just so we're both clear.
Yeah, Lizzy,
I know that this... I'm asking for a friend right now, okay? But I love this idea. You're absolutely right. Figuring out your love language, I think, is also as important as communication.
Yeah. You know, that's good timing because we actually just, I did this panel for the YWCA for Black History and like Love Month.
Yeah.
And it was like a book club and we talked about All About Love by Bell Hooks. Have you read that book?
No.
That's interesting. You should read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will read it.
You should read it.
Okay.
But it just talks about like love is really not a feeling. It's an action and it's like, you know, taking care of somebody, being, you know, I don't know. It's a whole list of like actions that
Bell
mean
Hooks.
that you're showing love. Yeah.
The whole list of actions mean that you're showing love. It's not just one way.
It's not like a feeling. It's an effort, basically. Yeah. And she talks about all kind of love: spiritual love, love with your children, community. It's
love
a really good
as a
book.
verb.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really good.
Yeah. Okay. See, that just put another weight on my shoulders. Okay. Eat stress-free this spring with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. That's it, just 2 minutes. Choose from a weekly menu of 35 options. That's amazing, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. Veggie's one of my faves. Also, discover more than 60 add-ons every week like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and beverages to help you stay fueled and feel good all day long. It's great if you want to do dinner, obviously for the family, but it's also great to have an on-the-go lunch option when you're working throughout the day and you just want something quick and you don't want to always order out. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and fuel up for springtime goals. Yes, I love eating fresh springtime meals that you feel like you're meant to eat during that season. Looking for gourmet meals? Well, try meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, yes please, broccolini, and asparagus. These meals are no fuss, no mess meals, which make it actually the perfect meals for families because it eliminates the hassle of prepping, cooking, and cleaning up when you have those busy weeks. Now listen, I love to be in the kitchen. I am a kitchen girl. It gives me my zen space. But sometimes when I'm really busy during the week, it's nice to just be able to simply heat and savor the good stuff with Factor meals. So head to factormeals.com/coolmomcode50 and use code coolmomcode50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code coolmomcode50 at factormeals.com/coolmomcode50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. Just also a really quick note. If you're loving this content, our podcast with all of our amazing guests, we love sharing their stories. It really is such a joy for us. Then you're going to love thecoolmom.co. Make sure to head over there. It is everything that you can think of lifestyle. So we have fashion, food, we have amazing interviews with a lot of other cool moms as well. So check out all of our Cool Mom Co features, shop our merch, do all the things. Check out thecoolmom.co. That's interesting too, though, because I think you're right. Love is all about actions. You know what I mean? If you really think about it and think back to like when we were younger relationships or whatever it was, right? Or why things didn't work with certain people.
Yeah.
It's about actions. It's about who's I don't want to say proving because that was a little triggering. Who is showing you the type of love that you want to receive, right? And that's through actions. But this is what I tell my daughters. I tell them all the time. People ask me all the time. That's what I say. I say, I don't want my daughter specifically, but my son too, to look anywhere else for love, because I want them to know how to be loved the right way.
Yeah.
I don't want them to look in the wrong places for love. That is important to me, but that comes through actions. You're absolutely right. So constantly I'm trying to show them through my actions, right? You see how I took it back to my kids? Through actions. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the next generation that we're raising.
Yeah.
I think it's very important, especially because we have a lot of our shoulders raising young Black women and young Black men in this world. And I think that we have a huge responsibility. I remember when my mom sat my brothers down for the talk about how they're going to be the ones that are seen if they're out and about doing some mess, that they're going to be the ones that are be targeted. They're going to be the ones that, you know what I mean, people will look at for blah, 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 blah. They have to make sure that they, you know, are extra safe when they, you know, are driving at night, whether they're with their friends or on a date with a girl, wherever they are.
Always have to be a step ahead.
Are you thinking about things like that? Raising, I mean, he's 4, but do these type
He's
of
almost
things?
4. Don't be trying to
I'm
age my
so
boobs.
sorry. Look, don't even play. Look, I'm with you every moment. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Let's flip it up. I love the fact that because you played tennis young, and for you were what, like you and just your girls played tennis when you were younger, and it was like something that you guys like had a group and did, and now you've created the Black Girls Tennis Club.
I mean, I wish I could say it was something that me and my girls did. No. So what happened was my dad knew how to play tennis.
Oh, wow.
He would take us out to the local courts, our whole family, like me, my brothers, my mom. He taught us all how to play tennis.
Really?
And I was probably about 10 when he taught me how to play tennis.
Wow.
Definitely pressured me to play for school. I
Yeah.
did. I was really good.
Yes.
And then it became more of an outlet for me. I was the only Black girl on the tennis team. And
At your high school.
at my high school, it felt very, like, although everybody was welcoming, it's still like to be the only Black girl in this type of country club sport feels very isolating. But tennis has done so much for me. My husband, I always joke and say, like, my husband knows when I say, can you watch Nigel, I need to go play tennis? He knows that he needs to watch Nigel or else it's not going to be good.
That's your code.
Yeah, that's my code.
Wow.
So tennis has done so much for me. I just really want to introduce the sport to more young Black girls and also Black women. I feel like because it's such a mental sport, it's so helpful, and I think it could do a lot for us.
Yeah, no, I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, honestly, I tried real hard to get my girls into tennis, you know. I think the other one the oldest one, there was high hopes, but she moved towards basketball. So I'm going to try and steer her back, you know. I think she can double sport, you know. Interesting enough, though, I took up tennis maybe like, I want to say 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I was out there. I felt good. Like, it felt good to, like, move my body and, like, you know, learn a new sport and all that stuff. And I consider myself fairly athletic of a person. And I was on the court, and I was doing my thing, and I was with the tennis coach. We were having a good time. Older guy, too. He was just going slow at his own speed. He had me moving all around that court. He didn't move not one time. It was just his racket that was moving. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, I heard something on my knee.
On your knee?
Knee. And I tore my ACL playing tennis.
Oh, my goodness.
Practicing tennis. Practicing. I wasn't even playing. I was out there learning. But all that to say is, it felt good. It felt good. Like, it's a sport that I think you're right. It's not exposed to enough young girls of color because it's not something that a lot of us can afford to do when we're younger, or a lot of us are exposed to. And it wasn't until Serena and Venus, I think that I'll speak for myself, that I even knew it was an option. Like, that was not even in my radar.
And that's the thing. You just need to see somebody that looks like you to know it's an option.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree. So is the Black Girls Tennis Club, is that something nationwide, or is that something that we all can participate in?
Coming soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right now we're in Norfolk, Virginia.
I have 2 daughters that I would like to get in there. Thank you.
But we have activated in other areas.
Okay, cool.
We've done clinics in Atlanta, but we definitely do want to come to LA.
You have to.
Our co-founder, Kimberly, she lives in LA.
Oh, great.
So we're hoping to activate more in LA.
Hopefully
we'll
be activating.
We'll be activating
Power
in LA.
of our words.
Yes.
Power of our words.
And other places. We're actually about to start adult programming. So we have Self Love Tennis Club coming, which is an adult clinic, but fun with the DJ, and then we're gonna have like a wellness piece after.
Listen, if y'all make tennis like the skating for Black people,
Listen.
I'm gonna tell you something.
That's
you something. I'll be out there just in my little tennis uniform, just like hitting the balls. I think that's fascinating. I think it's phenomenal because I think it is. I think it's all about exposure. What we are doing to our communities right now, exposing them to all the possibilities. I love the fact that you took something for yourself that was a self-care moment, a self-love moment, something that you always felt reprieve in, and like, you know, that you're opening it up to other little girls to feel the same way. And women. Hello, thank you for adding us. Hello. But I think that's something that's very remarkable. And I love when people take their experiences like that and flip it, you know, expand it so other people can have those same outlets and feel the same way.
And I think like our tagline is it's more than tennis. So I think too, like we like to promote hobbies in general. So it doesn't have to be tennis, but I think a lot of times Black women will, you know, we get stuck in this grind culture, or I got to make money for the, you know, the house and take care of my kids and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's great. But I think we also need to pause and schedule in time for ourselves, whether that be tennis or swimming or knitting, something.
I mean, you naming all these activities.
I know,
Look,
right?
swimming, I said,
You're
went
right,
to my
you're
hair.
right.
Okay, but look, because I was on a swim team when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
I told you, I'm trying it all. I'm trying it all. My mom was like you. She was like, I'm just going to expose
You breaking the stereotype. You breaking the stereotype that we can't swim. Okay.
No, we can swim. I'm a great swimmer. I'm like a fish. I'm a dolphin. I'm telling you. I can get out there. I got any stroke for you. But, you know, nowadays it's like, you know, I'm always like, my hair. I'm like, no, like, it's just too much. It's like, how is it? If they could create a cap, and you can play around with the little, I know the rubber caps and all that, but if they could really create a cap that didn't get my hair wet, I swim all the time.
Well, they need to create a cap when you play tennis and work out that you don't sweat.
They have the sweatbands.
That don't work.
Okay, this is what I heard. I heard, and tell me if I'm wrong, because you're the tennis pro, is that if you tie a scarf down while you're out there sweating, and then you let it dry, like don't take it off for the next 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, and let it dry, your roots will still be laid. Have you tried that?
They must have some silky roots, because not
Well,
these
hell,
roots.
wait a minute. Do you just go play tennis right before hair wash day?
No, I just make it work.
How?
I'm just like blow dry on cold after. Like it's just.
You got tricks we want to know of. You got tricks we want to know of. I love that, though. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. Congratulations on that. And I love talking to you. Okay, but we're not done yet. I have some things for you.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what I have for you. Okay, let's see if I have some questions for you. Here we go. I like some quick fire questions.
Okay.
You're into some quick fire questions?
Into it.
I'm into some quick fire questions. And I feel like you all on your wellness thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you into like the Black girls, you know, wellness, like tennis club, and you got the whole mental health wellness advocate thing going for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Don't get nervous. Look, I
I
feel
know,
you a little
like-
nervous. You are. You like tensed up a little bit.
Like, oh,
I'm like,
Lord.
you better uncross your arms. Like, girl, we here to play. All right, yoga or Pilates?
Ooh, neither.
Damn.
One thing, and I'm very honest about this. We offer yoga at my wellness studio. I'm like, I don't do yoga. I can meditate. I can journal.
How
I don't
often
know
do you
why.
meditate?
I journal more than I meditate. I think journaling is a form of meditation, in my opinion. Some people might not say it's not, but
No, I agree with that.
I'd say I meditate maybe once or twice a week.
And then
I journal every day.
You journal every day, morning, evening,
It depends how I'm feeling. Usually it's like when I'm having strong feelings. Yeah.
and you journal the feelings out, or you just free write.
I journal the feelings out. Before I would free write, but with my life coach,
Yes.
she was like, you need to write down your feelings. Yeah.
I found that like sometimes if I free write, it's almost harder.
Yeah.
Like free write is almost harder because I don't like to go back. I like to go back and look through my journals, and I don't like when I free write and I'm just like gibberish. I'm just like,
I don't know, Lizzy, I feel like feelings is harder because you have to like acknowledge them.
Ooh, me and you are different. There we go.
Right,
There
for
we
me,
go.
but like free writing, I can just free write all day because it's just me in the journal.
Ah, interesting.
Feelings, you actually have to. It's like admitting like I feel crazy or whatever the feeling is. It's,
Yes.
putting that on paper is kind of like saying it out loud.
You know, the only fear that I have about putting it on paper is that
Somebody gonna find it?
if something go down,
I know.
if something go down, they're gonna be like, here's the proof right here. She was crazy all along. And I'm like, oh man.
Well, see,
they
I just
got
switched to
me.
the phone. I just switched to the phone. I
You
used
know
to
they
have a
got your
journal.
phone records too. Look, I'm on some conspiracy theory. Everybody was like, Lizzie's a conspiracy theorist now. But that's the only thing. You're right. But it's like when you say it out loud or when you put it on paper, it almost like brings credibility to
Yeah.
it. And I think that's my only thing about the emotions. But I have no problems talking to you right now about all my emotions.
Yeah.
I have no problems. I will give you the whole spiel. But I think there is something powerful about when you write it. There is something powerful about that. But for you, it is journaling. That's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have found your self-care moment. Like that is your thing daily.
It's
Is that your
journaling.
daily thing?
It is.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You're inspiring me. Cold plunge or sauna?
Ooh, sauna.
Okay, because I was about to say.
I'm obsessed with the sauna.
Now, if you had said cold plunge, me and you might have looked at each other crazy.
So to be honest, the sauna, the infrared sauna is why I initially started Get Well Soon.
Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Talk a little
obsessed.
bit about Get Well Soon because we haven't touched on that at all. So talk about Get Well Soon.
So Get Well Soon is in Norfolk. We're a self-care sanctuary, but we focus on mental health. Mm-hmm. So we do meditation, yoga. We have an infrared sauna suite. We do facials and massage. Oh. And we also have a social club. But everything we do kind of ties back into like how can you, help your mental health. So busy hands make a quiet mind. We do like beading nights.
Wow.
Yeah, we do different like flower arrangement sessions, and we call it social clubs. So we always have conversation. It's amazing.
Busy hands keep a quiet mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So the reason I started Get Well Soon was because I had moved away for a job. And my best friend had recently passed. Terrence and I had like went through a brief break. Like it was just, my life felt like was in shambles. And I found the infrared sauna in 2014. And I don't know why, but I don't know if it's just the time sitting with yourself and then how great you feel after getting out of the sauna. It just changed my life. Like it was a really good, at the time, that was my wellness thing that I had to do almost every day.
Wow. And how often do you do it now?
Not that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often would you go in and sit in the infrared sauna? What's your recommendation?
I had a membership and I went, it depends. I would try to go at least Monday through Friday.
30 minutes a session?
Oh, I did 40 minutes.
40
There were
minutes.
40-minute sessions.
40
Yeah.
minutes. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So that's coming to LA soon too. Got it. Okay, great. Meditation or deep breathing exercises?
Ooh, I say deep breathing.
Really? That makes me
Yeah.
lightheaded. It make you lightheaded?
No, not really. And I say deep breathing because you could do that anywhere.
Did you do anything when you were in labor? Did you do any of like the deep breathing exercises?
Oh, girl, my blood pressure shot up at 39 weeks. I had to have a C-section. I was hoping to go in labor, but it didn't happen.
I have a question just on like labor part because we didn't touch on that. Did you have any fears as a Black woman giving birth in the United States?
Nope. But I felt like I had a little bit of privilege. I gotta announce my privilege.
That's right. That's right. You gotta say it.
I specifically chose a Black woman, OBGYN, and my dad worked at the hospital.
Oh, well, that's the privilege. I was about to give you a stat, but I was like, no, you was
No,
taken care of.
Sometimes, no matter if healthcare providers are Black or white, sometimes they still get sucked up into that culture.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in the state of California, the richest Black woman in California still has like, I don't even know the percentage. I think, what is it, like 30 or something 30 or 40% is still some crazy percentage. I won't even quote it, but some crazy percentage higher of having maternal health risks and dying during that process than the poorest white woman. Privilege doesn't even matter when you're Black in that situation, unless your daddy work at the hospital.
That's the only, listen, that's the only reason, okay?
Unless that. But that's great. So, okay, so we got that. But that was something, I mean, I think it's just so interesting because, you know, some women I talk to, they don't necessarily feel it. And some women I talk to are like, I'm afraid to get pregnant because of it.
But let me tell you, outside of maternal health, I definitely feel it.
Yeah.
It's like your feelings aren't valid, or if like you know something's wrong, it's easily dismissed.
And you've had experiences of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard one.
I couldn't imagine during pregnancy.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine either. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
You know what though? But I've had experiences even during pregnancy with, like I miscarried before I had my oldest. And during that experience, I remember talking to the doctors and them being very dismissive of like all the little feelings, everything that I had about. And it wasn't until I talked to actually a Black doctor where he was like, listen, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna tell you what's happening. And he like walked me through like the process and all the things. But it was this feeling of like, damn, like I'm just, okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, oh, okay, goodbye. I don't, like, it was just being very dismissive. Like I was supposed to just move on with my life.
But Lizzy, I will say that I think there's a huge problem after, like postpartum.
Agreed.
So it's not a joke, but I always joke and say like, we need wellness checks for moms. Like, you know how after you have a baby, 2 days later, you got to drag them to the pediatrician and do wellness check. And then it's like after 2 weeks or whatever the time periods are, but like nobody is doing a wellness check on the mom that has to take care of the baby.
That's right.
And, you know, they ask you all these crazy questions, but I really think there needs to be some type of something in place to make sure that the women have wellness checks after the baby, not just the baby.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I was looking through pictures the other day, like just old pictures of like the babies and stuff like that. And like when I had my first, and I remember looking at myself in the picture and feeling sad. And I was like, why do I look like, why am I feeling that? And it's like, you know how sometimes you can't remember, sometimes you don't remember people's names, you don't remember that, but you remember the feeling that they give you. It was that kind of idea. It was like in the picture, I don't remember details about what was going on that day or what was anything else, but I remember the feeling that I had in the picture, and it felt like sadness.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? And now 3 kids later passed, and I'm over here doing this, and you know, my youngest is 6 now, so I'm a little removed from like the baby stages. But I was like, wow, that is that overwhelming feeling that you get in new motherhood that no one understands until you're in it. Did you feel like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny is as soon as I had Nigel, like as soon as they took him out, and then you know how they clean him up and they brought him to me, Terrence, I don't know if like my husband had him and tried to show him to me, and he said, babe, are you okay? Like, he said that he thought that I didn't know what was going, like, that's how I felt. I was like, whose baby is that?
Wow.
Like, but it's because I was just so out of it from the experience and then maybe the drugs. I don't know. But it's a very transformative, mind-blowing, stressful, beautiful experience all in one. I don't know how you get all those things in one.
Isolating,
yes.
For me, I felt so isolated. Like you said, it is beautiful. I will never take anything away from the power of motherhood and how that truly has changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it is so isolating. You don't even realize. You feel like you're on a planet by yourself with another human being. You're on Mars now, and you got to figure it out. You don't know where the food coming from. You don't know where the resources coming from. Right. You don't know what is this air we're breathing. But all I know is I got to figure out how to protect you. That's all I know. And it feels so isolating sometimes in that moment. And I think that's something that we are speaking about more now. But at the moment of like me first having my child, that was not discussed at all whatsoever, especially amongst Black women.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh no, you saw other people talk about it, but not us.
Not us.
Like
we don't talk about anything.
We don't talk. We didn't. No.
Yeah. That's like spilling the family
that's
jewels.
Right.
You just don't do it. Yeah.
Like, girl, what you talking about? You better shut your mouth and keep
Yeah.
on going. It's just like we didn't. It wasn't acknowledged, and so I don't necessarily think I had postpartum depression, but I do understand women very much so how it's easily missed.
Yeah.
Because you try and just keep pushing through it.
So my mom actually was like, girl, you don't need no nanny. Like, while I was pregnant. And she did everything herself. Popped out 3 babies, no medication. I mean, she was a G.
Yeah.
You know? So it would be, I think maybe from her standpoint, it would be easy for her to say, like, you don't need no nanny. You don't need. So I kept that in my mind of I don't need a nanny. My husband was like, what are you talking about? Until my son turned 4 months. And I literally was crying, and he was crying. And I had the feeling like I wanted to leave this baby on the bed and run. At that point, I knew
You were like,
I
"That's
needed
the
a
moment."
nanny.
You were like, hold
Yes,
up.
yes.
This don't feel right.
Right, something ain't right.
Something's not
I need
right
help.
about this feeling. What's happening? And that moment. Yeah. That's interesting, though. I think that takes a lot for your partner to be able to recognize that, for you to be able to recognize that, and for you both to be able to act on it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that even sometimes when that discussion is had or when it's recognized in the mother, once again, giving permission for you to recognize that feeling, to speak it out loud, and to find a solution is the biggest thing. Because when you push it down, that's when it becomes an impossible feat.
Yeah.
And it becomes overwhelming. And then that's when mental health really starts to get challenged.
And not to take everything so negatively. Like, I could have easily been like, what, you don't think I could do it?
Yeah.
What, you don't believe in me?
Yeah.
Why do you think I need a nanny? You know? And really, no, we just want some peace in our household, you know? What
And-
can get us there?
Yeah, and also time for y'all. You know, I'm a big, as you can see, I'm a big push on the marriage starts first, the relationship starts first. That's the only reason why you got them kids. If you're in a successful situation, if you are blessed enough to have a partner by your side, I think you have to. For me, I put everything into those kids, and I was like, you're over there. You're over there. Like, we need this, but you're over there. And I think that was hard. That was something that we had to go through and figure out how to how do we manage each other now in this new world with this other person?
Yeah.
You know, and I think
we're responsible for.
that we're responsible for. So that was hard, figuring out relationship in that. But yes, I agree with everything you just said. Okay, girl, you're gonna make me take 2 hours with you.
This is
Hold
not
on
rapid
now.
fire,
I mean,
okay?
come on, yeah, you slow fire.
My bad.
Man, you're slow fire. You've made my question slow fire. This ain't quick fire no more. Slow fire questions. Okay, running or cycling?
Running.
Oh, interesting. Smoothies or juices?
Smoothies.
Outdoor workouts or gym sessions?
Oh my God, outdoor workouts.
Okay, hot. You're so committed about this wellness thing you're really on. Hot bath or cold shower?
Hot bath.
Thank God. Digital detox or social media check-ins?
Huh?
Okay, so digital detox, away from your phone, or are you into social media? I already know the question. I know.
Away
I already
from
know.
my phone.
Yeah, I was about to say. I already know. You be like, bye. You forget y'all social media.
It's hard though, but yeah.
Regular sleep schedule or catching up on the weekends by sleeping in?
Regular sleep schedule.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Journaling or gratitude practice? Journaling or gratitude practice? We already know. We
Ooh.
talked about this already.
Yeah,
So
I'd
I
say
feel like-
journaling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Daily affirmations or positive long self-talks?
Positive long self-talks.
Mindfulness apps or guided meditation sessions?
I'd say guided meditation sessions.
I like that. Group fitness or solo workouts?
Solo. Solo
I'm
dolo.
a solo dolo.
Yeah.
I'm a solo dolo. No, you know what? I will take. I like a group fitness class.
Really?
Yeah, I think it because it's accountability.
Yeah.
If you leave it up to me, it might not get done.
That's true. 'Cause that's the one reason I like Orange Theory, because I'm like, oh, she going faster
Yeah,
than me.
exactly.
Oh, she in the red.
That
I'm
little competition. Like, I see you. I see you. Virginia, thank you for joining me
Thank
on the
you
Cool Mom
for
Co
having
podcast. This
me.
has been amazing. I appreciate you. And I am so, so happy and excited for you to bring the Black Girl Tennis Club to LA. We will be your first members.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
All righty.